Hello everyone, welcome to Roma Theory. It's a big live stream today because we're gonna go through our team and choose Mourinho's starting 11. Now look, I think it's a great live stream to do during an international break because when we're back playing, there is no space for mistakes anymore. You know, starting from Sunday, we have a series of games, a very long series of games, Serie A and Europa League included, where mistakes are just the last thing we gotta think about. Losing points is the last thing we gotta think about because after such a depressing start, things can only be better. But in order for things to only be better, a lot of things need to change. And one of them is choices. You know, putting the best lineup we possibly can. Obviously, injury wise, it's not ideal, but this live stream we're gonna go through our team and choose Mourinho's best starting 11. Let's not count injuries, let's not count poor fitness. Towards the middle of the season, there's gonna be a peak of time where we are going to see we're going to see this starting 11, hopefully. Hopefully your injury crisis slows down. Do I think it is going to slow down? No, I don't. I think it's always going to be there to haunt us, to threaten us, for various different reasons. As we mentioned yesterday, one of them is definitely the fact that we've got a lot of unfit players in this team who've got injury pasts. And two, I mean, it's in our DNA to get injuries and injuries and injuries. And then you've got players like Dybala who... insane players, but very injury prone. So, ideally, to have a starting 11, to have your best starting 11 start week in and week out, you need top quality fit players. Something which unfortunately we don't have. But yeah. Apart from that, this video has been recommended by one of you guys, so shout out to you. Thanks for coming up with the topic of today. Also, another thing which I want to do is not only, speak about the best and give my best starting 11, but I'm also here to speak about squad depth, if it has improved from last season, and if so, in what sections it has improved. Now, obviously, feel free to play along as we move from goalkeeper to defense to midfield to attack. Feel free to interact in the chat. The more interactions, the more funner the live stream. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's get into this. First thing we're gonna choose is formation. I've had enough of 3 at the back. I have to be very honest with you. I want us to go back with 4 defenders at the back. We started off Jose's first season at Roma with a 4-2-3-1, and I think it was the only time in 3 years where we played some decent, watchable football. So yes, you heard it. I think the formation needs to be a 4-3-2-1. Why am I changing from a 4-2-3-1 that Jose implemented in his first season to a 4-3-2-1? I am saying this because we lost some key players which helped with the defensive part from last season. When you lose a player like Matic, you obviously need to cover yourself more in defense. So my formation is a 4-3-2-1, but I'm the first one to say that our fullbacks are weak. And obviously, if your fullbacks are weak, a 4-3-2-1 isn't the best of options that we can implement. But my formation is a 4-3-2-1 with very offensive fullbacks. So just to picture this, right? Because I think picturing is very important in this stream. You've got your 4 defenders. These are your 4 defenders. The 2 centre backs need to be backwards, but the 2 fullbacks need... It's kind of like that. Ignore that thumb over there. Look at that. You see, that needs to be our defense. Maybe you look at it this way. These 2 need to be your centre backs, and these 2 need to be your fullbacks. So our defense line doesn't need to move together. And I know this will lead to risks, because if your defense doesn't move together, you will concede goals like the second goal that we conceded against Verona. But if the defense doesn't move together, the fullbacks can do whatever they want. And if they do whatever they want, they can focus on the attack more. And all of our fullbacks are way more, all of our fullbacks are way more offensive than defensive fullbacks. Karsdorp loves attacking, hates defending. Zalewski loves attacking, hates defending. Spinazzola loves attacking, hates defending. And at the end of the day, Cilic also loves attacking and hates defending. So all of our fullbacks are fullbacks which need to run. All of our fullbacks are, jokes aside, fullbacks which need to cross the ball. We really don't have fullbacks which love defending and love to stay back. So I'm adopting a 4-3-2-1 with fullbacks being very, very high. Again, when you want to play with high fullbacks, the fullbacks also need to come back and defend. And this is where fitness comes in very, very handy. Because if your fullbacks are there to do this for the entire game, you cannot be unfit. If you've got fullbacks which want to play like this and aren't fit enough to run, then forget about playing with fullbacks. Then just forget about playing with fullbacks. We need to be very fit to play with 4 at the back and the 2 fullbacks which run a lot. And I'm speaking about Spinazzola, who in these first few games, again, I've nothing against him, but he looked dead. If the fitness is this running and going back and running and going back, and this impact that the fullbacks can have will never be there. So I hope that during this international break, we have trained together on our fitness. Because in order for this system to work, this formation to work, the number one thing is fitness. Because we've got to accelerate things. And in order to accelerate things, you gotta be fitter, you gotta be faster, you gotta think before passing the ball. So again, you're probably going, who are your 4 defenders? I'm going with Zalewski on the left wing, and I'm going with Karsdorp on the right wing, and then in the middle, I'm going with Smalling and Evan Ndika. Where is Mancini? This is a risk. I have acknowledged that this might be a mistake because Smalling and Mancini know each other. Smalling and Mancini have played 2 European finals together, and Smalling and Mancini defended really, really well last season. But sometimes in football, you gotta change. Sometimes in football, you have to change, especially if the results lately have been poor. Let's experiment. Let's try Ndika on Sunday. I mean, Mancini's injured because he got out of the Italian national team with a little muscle problem. Let's experiment with Ndika next to Smalling. Beware. Smalling. Smalling has been terrible at the start of this season. Smalling is not good enough anymore. This defense, without Smalling's charisma and leadership, would be bonkers. So Smalling needs to be in this starting lineup every single time. Because Smalling might be in an unfit period of the year. But if you don't play with Smalling, all of the defenders around you are going to bottle games. Because they don't have Smalling in that lineup. And we've clearly seen it last season. So yes, he's the older one. Yes, he's been terrible at the start. But Smalling needs to be the flag of our defense. I have to be honest with you, I don't imagine our defense without Smalling. Going forward, obviously, because Smalling will retire. And Mancini and Ndika are going to be our young ones, which need to take back that position. But as of now, Smalling is untouchable. Again, the fact that he's played 3 terrible games is bad, but it's not the end of the world. So Smalling, and I'm going to put in Ndika just because I want to try something new. I'm a big Mancini fan. And Mancini deserves that captain armband in terms of the leadership he puts, way more than Pellegrini. And again, we've got a lot of tournaments to play, so I am sure that we're going to rotate. For example, if Ndika and Smalling start in Europa League, then Ndika and Mancini can, in the league, then Mancini and Ndika can start in Europa League, or Llorente and Ndika, or Llorente and Mancini. So I think Smalling needs to be picked, but Smalling needs to be picked for one tournament. And the league is the most important one, so he needs to play the league. In Europa League, I think our defence at the start in the group stage, I think should be Mancini and Ndika. Moving on, if we reach a hypothetical final, obviously Smalling needs to play in it. But in the league, Smalling and Ndika, and in Europa League, Ndika and Mancini, with Karsdorp and Zalewski, who are tracking back and forward and back and forward and back and forward. Three midfielders. I'm putting Cristante as the sole defensive midfielder, with Pellegrini and Renato Sanchez as box-to-box transition midfielders. We lack a transition midfield. Renato Sanchez is the one. Question is, how many games will Renato Sanchez play? Cristante is untouchable. You like him, you hate him. Cristante is untouchable in terms of fitness and in terms of Jose's preferences. So if you want Cristante out of this, yes, you can get him out of this, but it will never happen. So Cristante, I think, again, unpopular opinion here, but when Cristante hits his day, he's a very, very underrated defensive midfielder. But the important part here is transition, because we just lack. Against Milan, we just did not know what to do with that ball. And when you don't know what to do with that ball, you need somebody which transitions it, somebody which brings it forward. And in the first 20 minutes that Renato Sanchez played against Salernitana, he showed me great stuff. That's exactly what we need. So my three midfielder men is Pellegrini, Renato, and Cristante for behind. Will this work out? Yes, it will. Will it work out in every game? No, it won't, because Renato Sanchez and Pellegrini are gonna miss out a few games. So this is my three midfield. Again, you're probably going, do I drop Pellegrini? No, I don't drop Pellegrini. I do not drop Pellegrini. And again, you may call me whatever you want. Pellegrini dick licker. Call me that. But I'm not dropping Pellegrini. I am not dropping Pellegrini, because I'm the first one which wants to give him time. If after game week 10 he gives zero impacts to the game, then yes, I will consider subbing him in. But as a lot of you guys here, say that time is key for every component of this team. The statement time is key doesn't just apply to the people you want. If that's the statement, it needs to apply to everyone here. And Pellegrini has just played 3 games. One of them he's missed half of it because he was injured against Milan. And I believe in him, and I'm the first one which will start him. And then my 2 attacking midfielders, Dybala and Aouar, and Lukaku up front. So Aouar and Dybala right behind Lukaku. Creativity. We lack creativity. And in a period of time where we just bought Lukaku, creativity, give it to Lukaku, he can bag it in. So, again, I love Dybala, but he's way too injury prone. So, obviously he's in my starting 11, but I've got a lot of question marks on Dybala. How many games can he play? If somebody asks me right now, sign on this paper and Dybala will have the same exact season as last season, I will do it. Because if you look at the goal and assist ratio to games, last season was a masterclass for Dybala. He got double figure in goals and double figure in assists while missing 50% of games. That is talent. And if he can do that, even just that, Dybala and Aouar go in. And then up front, obviously, Lukaku. I mean, look, if you look at these 3 games, the one player which saves himself is Belotti. But at the same time, I just feel like Belotti plays in a way which helps us, but doesn't favour us scoring goals. If you see what I mean. Again, as I just said, Belotti is the only player which saves himself in terms of performances, in terms of what he's given to the football pitch in these first 3 games. But I think one of the limits of why we haven't been scoring much in these first 3 games I mean, we have, obviously, but the fact that we have always got this problem of not scoring goals. One, yes, he fights, but Belotti isn't fast. You know, if we want to play with long balls, you need a fast striker. And I hate to say it, but Belotti isn't fast. Lukaku is faster than Belotti. And the second thing, if the way we play is long balls, find the striker, keep the ball, and let the team advance, then Belotti is good at that because of his bulkiness, but Lukaku's better. Because there's a difference between Lukaku and Belotti if we want to play this style of football. Belotti keeps the ball and wins the foul. Lukaku keeps the ball but doesn't always get fouled and actually can resist the pressure from the defense and bring the ball forward. You know, this is nothing to do with criticism or that, but have we all counted how much time gets wasted after our strikers get fouled? You know, have we all seen how many times Belotti gets banged on the floor and destroyed on the floor? And that's good because he helps the team. But if you've got Lukaku, 80% of the times he won't get fouled and he will keep the ball and turn around. These are different characteristics. Lukaku's bigger, Belotti's kind of like, what do you want to call it? Hunchback here. Lukaku uses his back in a better way than Belotti, if that makes sense. Belotti closes himself down and he gets fouled. Lukaku keeps himself stable. And he keeps himself stable and keeps the ball. Because, I don't know, maybe he's stronger. I think he is stronger. Muscle ability and all of that. But, again, I'm not trying to discredit Belotti. As I just said, I think Belotti has been the best player over the course of September, as of now. Because of that brace against Salernitana. Because of the way he gave a soul to a game in compared to other players against Verona or all of that. And another thing, which I think Lukaku will guarantee more goals than Belotti. Lukaku is obviously a starting striker, Belotti is a subbing in striker, which is different. Obviously, first striker will get more goals, according to the logic. But I just feel like Lukaku would bag more goals than Belotti. Especially if he links up well with Aouar and Dybala. So this is my best lineup. There are a lot of question marks in this lineup because a lot of these players are constantly injured, constantly unfit. Aouar, how many games will he play? Dybala, how many games will he play? Renato Sanchez, how many games will he play? Karsdorp, how many games will he play? Pellegrini, how many games will he play? 70% of the team which I just listed has got question marks on it. But if everybody's fit, this is, in my opinion, the best striker. In terms of squad depth, we've got very interesting players. The biggest one being El Shaarawy, in my opinion. I am tempted to put El Shaarawy in this. If I would put El Shaarawy, I would sub one between Aouar and Pellegrini away. If I sub Pellegrini away, I'd kind of put Aouar down and El Shaarawy next to Dybala. If I sub Aouar out, I would put El Shaarawy instead of him and keep Pellegrini back down. El Shaarawy can get in this starting 11 very easily. The only way I put Aouar and Dybala, the only reason I put Dybala and Aouar is because in the few games that they played together in preseason, I've seen incredible link-ups. And that's exactly what we need if we want to score goals. Especially now that we have a physical striker like Lukaku. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I've enjoyed it. This is Mourinho and Simo's best starting 11 for Roma. Goalkeeper Rui, left back Ndika, centre back Smalling, centre back Mancini, right back Zalewski, and the rest, as you said. That's interesting because that is interesting because he can play as a left back. I just feel like if we play Ndika as a left back, it will limit our attack, and we play in such a way that fullbacks need a big emphasis in our team. I just can't see Ndika running down and up and crossing the ball in. Ndika's more of a centre back style left back. So, that is my lineup. I think that Pellegrini needs to be back in form to perform at his best. He probably has just never recovered fully, and that's why of the undertone season. I'd really like to see our captain back. Yes, Lazio president dissed Roma. We have to show them this year. Don't worry, mate. The fact that he always thinks about us is the positive thing. They live with our thoughts. They live with us in their minds. He can speak But he knows that if he doesn't speak about us, nobody will click on his newspapers and all of that. So yeah, I'm gonna catch you soon. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. In preparation for the Empoli game, no more loss with points. We've wasted our chances. Now we need to win, and if we don't win on Sunday, trouble. If we don't win on Sunday, trouble. Mayhem. If we don't win on Sunday, I'm protesting on the streets. I'm protesting on the streets. No, I'm not. But if we don't win at home against Empoli, it's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, if we don't win at home against Empoli, then you get this and you literally go like this and scrap it away and ask yourself, what the fuck am I doing? So, we gotta win. Full stop. Catch you soon. Take care. Smash the like button. Subscribe to the channel. And talk to you soon. Take care. Simon out. Oh, and let me know in the comments your Mourinho's best starting 11. So yeah, catch you soon.